Hello, welcome to the Hawthorn Cottage-Craft Podcast. Today is Wednesday the 28th of November. I'm Kate. You can find me on Instagram as Kate_Hawthorncottagecraft, on Ravelry as ARunnerBean, and there's a Ravelry group for the podcast called Hawthorn Cotagecraft Podcast. Today I want to show you a book I was sent to review by the Making Stories team. Making Stories is a knitwear design publisher based in Berlin, run by Verena Kors and Hannelise Haferkamp. And this company focuses very much on sustainability and ethically produced yarns, something which is becoming of greater importance to me, as you will know if you've been watching the podcast. Jules is the third book in their European nature book series, and its focus is on local breed-specific European yarns. And this book is absolutely bursting with articles, with patterns, and with beautiful photography. Aesthetically, this is a stunning book. It is beautiful to look at, to feel, to hold, and it's very, very much a coffee table book that you can dip in and out of, as well as looking for the actual knitting patterns. It's divided into two. The second half of the book are the patterns, and I'll actually begin with those. They are very clearly set out. There are very clear schematics for each pattern with any measurements that you need, and the patterns themselves are clearly set out. Some patterns can look quite confusing, but I think anyone coming to this book, new knitter, more experienced knitter, will find that the patterns are very, very clearly set out on it. They are also they also include the charts for those patterns that have charts, and what I liked to see was that some of the charts are actually in colour, and I find that very helpful. Sometimes in colour work, if the charts are written in black and white, I can find it quite confusing trying to remember colours and what I'm doing, whereas actually to see the charts in colour I think could be quite helpful. So the patterns themselves are very, very clearly set out and clearly labelled, and give you all the information that you need for each pattern. The notions, the needles, all the things you expect to find in a knitting pattern. The first half of the book is amazing. It's jam-packed. There are profiles on all of the yarns used. Each pattern that is included has a yarn profile. It also has a profile of the designer of that particular pattern, and those are all really interesting to read. It's really nice to see who is behind the pattern and maybe what influenced them, as well as the yarn and designer profiles within the book. There are also articles that are really interesting. One of them is on yarn substitution, and that has been written by Katie Green. Sometimes we want to substitute the yarn that is recommended for a variety of reasons, and it's sometimes difficult to know where to start with that. So that is an article that is definitely worth reading. There are lots of tips given. There's also an article on colour substitution and colour work. We don't always have the colours, or the colour schemes in colour work don't always appeal to us. So it's how to do that and how to go about starting to do that. And there's also a very interesting interview and chat conversation between Melody Hoffman, the designer, and Paula Goosen of Mole View Yarns. And they discuss colour and colour schemes and how to go about picking colour schemes. Colour is obviously very much at the heart of this book. The name of it is Jules. And Hannelise and Verena in their introduction say, Jules is inspired by the deep, strong tones of rubies, emeralds, sapphires, opals, by the geometric perfections and imperfections of gems, by the feeling that knitwear, even and especially the garments and accessories we wear every day, can be glamorous and luxurious and make us feel strong. There are 12 patterns in this book, and each of those patterns very much fall into the category of colour and depth and strong tones and dual tones. There are 6 garment patterns and there are 6 accessories patterns: mittens, socks, shawls, cowls, hats. So there's something for everyone in this book. I'm going to include photographs of each of the patterns so that you can see what exactly there is and how beautiful the colours work and just the depth that is there. You'll see how diverse each of the patterns are, but how classically beautiful each of the patterns are. That's what I like about this book. They are modern, the patterns all stand up to a modern look, but I think they're all classic looks that won't date, and that for me is very important in the things that I choose to knit. I don't want to knit something this year that I can't wear next year, and each of these patterns I think will carry on for a very long time. So as I said, I'll include photographs and show you each of the patterns here. So as you saw from those photographs, there is something for everyone in this book, and oh my word, my knitting to-do list has just increased greatly. The sweaters in this book, I love the accessories, but the sweaters in this book just blew me away, and there are at least 2 that I'm itching to cast on and maybe think about in the new year. Put it on your Christmas list if you don't have this book. It is certainly worth it. I have really enjoyed reviewing it. I've really enjoyed reading it. And as I said, I think I have added to my list. The Making Stories team have also very kindly donated one of these to the podcast, and I will be giving that away. What I want you to do is to go over to the Ravelry group and find the thread there in the Hawthorn Cottage Podcast group for Jules. And what I want you to do is to leave a comment and tell me from the patterns that I've shown you which is your favourite and maybe why. Why does that one in particular stand out? And I'm going to leave this open just for 2 weeks. So it'll be, I'm not sure of the date, in and around the 12th of December. I'll put it at the bottom when the closing date for that will be. And I will draw a winner then so that I can maybe get it in the post, and depending on where you are, you might have it before Christmas. So in order to win this beautiful publication, go over to the Ravelry group and post in the thread there. Thank you very much to the Making Stories team for letting me review this, and I hope you all enjoyed.